Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to lean in close for a moment. There's a saying that goes, he's crazy like a fox. Now, if you've heard that before, you may have thought it was just a quirky expression. But I'm here to tell you today that this phrase holds the key to unlocking a strategy for success that few understand. You see, in this world, people are quick to judge actions. They'll look at you, they'll see what you're doing, and they'll label you as crazy. They'll talk behind your back saying things like, she's lost her mind. But if you hold on to the end of this message, I promise you, you'll realize that the crazy you're being accused of may just be the very thing that sets you up for victory. It's not madness, it's strategy. It's not irrational, it's calculated. So stick with me and I'll show you how to be crazy like a fox. The phrase crazy like a fox is an intriguing one, often used in casual conversation to describe someone who seems to be acting irrationally or foolishly, but in truth, they are being strategic, intelligent, cunning. At first glance, the idea of being crazy like a fox might sound contradictory, but if we dig deeper, we find that it carries profound wisdom, especially when it comes to understanding success, making decisions, and navigating life's challenges. The fox is known for its sharpness, quick thinking, and ability to outmaneuver predators or obstacles. In the wild, the fox isn't the largest or most powerful animal, but its intelligence and adaptability allow it to thrive. This animal knows when to blend into its environment and when to act with precision and timing. So when we say someone is crazy like a fox, we are recognizing that this person may seem unpredictable or unconventional on the surface, but in reality, they are executing a calculated strategy with a long-term goal in mind. In our fast-paced, judgmental world, it's easy to be misunderstood. People often assess others based on superficial actions or quick judgments, failing to see the deeper motives behind those actions. You may be working on a project, making decisions, or pursuing a vision that others view as unreasonable or even risky. But when you're crazy like a fox, what others interpret as wild or erratic behavior could very well be a form of brilliance. The truth is, those who have the foresight and vision to act differently often pay a price for being misunderstood. But the reward, it's immense because they are the ones who change the game. We must recognize that true vision often doesn't align with conventional thinking. Those who are crazy like a fox can step outside the norm, seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. They're not afraid to take risks, but it's not recklessness. They're well aware of the stakes and the potential rewards. They understand that in order to break through barriers and achieve something great, they need to move beyond what others are comfortable with. That's what the fox teaches us, not about playing it safe, it's about playing it smart. It's about knowing when to make a bold move and when to lay low, when to strike and when to wait. This is what makes crazy like a fox a powerful mindset. The world may scoff at the bold decisions you make or the unconventional path you choose, but the fox knows that appearances can be deceiving. What seems like an irrational move may actually be a brilliant, well-planned step towards something greater. This mindset encourages you to embrace your uniqueness, to follow your instincts, and to trust that you don't have to conform to society's expectations to succeed. When people label you as crazy, it's an indication that you're thinking beyond the limitations of the status quo. You're innovating, you're pioneering, and you're not afraid to look different. In reality, you're doing exactly what needs to be done to achieve your goals. Like the fox, you may appear unpredictable, but the truth is, you're always thinking 2, 3, or even 4 steps ahead. Being crazy like a fox isn't about being reckless, it's about embracing intelligent strategy and an unwavering belief in your vision. So the next time someone questions your actions or decisions, don't be discouraged. Remember, the fox never cares about fitting into someone else's idea of normal. It's too busy outsmarting the world. The beauty of being crazy like a fox lies in the art of making unpredictable moves. At first glance, the fox appears to act without pattern or reason. Its movements seem erratic, darting from one place to another, seemingly without a care in the world. But what we fail to see is the underlying intelligence guiding its every step. Just because a move seems unpredictable doesn't mean it lacks purpose or strategy. In fact, it's often the most unpredictable moves that create the most significant breakthroughs. In life, we often face situations where the predictable paths are crowded and well-worn, where everyone is doing the same thing, following the same steps. These paths are safe, comfortable, and approved by society, but those who are crazy like a fox understand that success rarely comes from following the crowd. True innovators, leaders, and visionaries are often the ones who step off the well-traveled path and take a different route, one that might seem unpredictable, unorthodox, or even risky to others. This is where the power of unpredictability comes into play. Making an unpredictable move isn't about being reckless or throwing caution to the wind. Instead, it's about seeing opportunities where others don't and having the courage to act when everyone else is standing still. Like the fox, who weaves through obstacles using its agility to slip past predators. You too must learn to adapt, pivot, move in ways that others don't expect. Think about some of the most successful individuals throughout history. What made them stand out? It wasn't always their intelligence or resources, it was their ability to make moves that were unpredictable to the world around them. They didn't follow the status quo. They forged new paths, even when others called them crazy for doing so. Steve Jobs didn't follow the traditional rules of business, and neither did Elon Musk. These individuals made decisions that appeared irrational or strange, but in reality, they were taking calculated risk based on a vision others couldn't yet see. Their moves seemed unpredictable at the time, but looking back, we can see that their unorthodox decisions were key to their success. The world often rewards those who are willing to take risks, who are willing to make a move when others hesitate. When you think crazy like a fox, you're thinking of a strategy that others may not see, and you're willing to trust your instincts to make that leap. You know that sometimes you have to take an unexpected turn to zig when everyone else is zagging in order to gain an advantage. In the world of business, creativity, or even personal growth, those who make unpredictable moves often position themselves ahead of the curve. The unpredictability comes with a calculated risk, a risk that, if done wisely, will pay off in unexpected rewards. However, it's crucial to remember that unpredictability is not synonymous with randomness. The fox doesn't make random moves. It is constantly assessing its environment and making decisions based on what it believes will lead to the best outcome. Similarly, the key to making unpredictable moves in life is understanding when to take calculated risks and when to stay cautious. It's about balancing bold action with keen insight so that your unpredictable move becomes a masterstroke, not a mistake. Being crazy like a fox means trusting your instincts and not being afraid to step outside of predictable patterns. It's about embracing the unknown and seeing the opportunities that others overlook. And when you make those unpredictable moves, you don't need to explain yourself to anyone, because you know that while others may call you crazy, you're simply thinking strategically, outsmarting the ordinary, and setting yourself up for something extraordinary. The relationship between perception and reality is a powerful concept, especially when we talk about being crazy like a fox. In life, people are often quick to judge based on what they see on the surface, but the real story lies deeper. The phrase crazy like a fox speaks to the gap between what others perceive as irrational behavior and the reality of a well-thought-out strategy. What might appear as a hasty, foolish decision could actually be the most calculated and clever move you could make. Understanding this dynamic is crucial to navigating a world where appearances can be misleading and assumptions often cloud judgment. People are conditioned to evaluate others through the lens of what they know or what they expect. If someone is acting in a way that doesn't fit the norm, they are often labeled as crazy, reckless, or even out of touch. This label, though, is a reflection of the observer's limited perspective, not the true nature of the actions being taken. What the world sees as erratic or unpredictable is often the result of a carefully crafted plan, a long-term vision that isn't immediately obvious to others. Like a fox moving through the woods, seemingly hopping from place to place with no clear direction, the reality is that every move has purpose, every step is calculated, and every direction is chosen with foresight. When you think about the great innovators, pioneers, and trailblazers throughout history, they have often been misunderstood in their time. At the moment of their unconventional choices, they were often met with resistance, mockery, or disbelief. But in hindsight, their moves were seen for what they truly were: brilliant, visionary acts that changed the course of history. People like Albert Einstein, Martin Luther King Jr., or even the early tech entrepreneurs weren't always embraced for their ideas. They were often seen as crazy because their thoughts and actions didn't fit the mold of the time. But what set them apart was their ability to see beyond the immediate reaction and move forward with clarity, undeterred by public perception. In our own lives, This same principle applies. When you decide to step outside the expected, to take a different path or pursue a goal that others can't yet see, there's a good chance you will be misunderstood. People may not understand why you're doing what you're doing, and they may even try to discourage you, labeling your ideas as too out there, too crazy. However, just because others cannot see your vision doesn't mean it's not valid. In fact, that's often a sign that you're onto something different, something that hasn't yet been realized by the masses. One of the most powerful aspects of being crazy like a fox is understanding that the world often reacts based on what they can immediately comprehend. The immediate reaction may be doubt, but the reality is that your decisions are often driven by a deeper understanding, a broader perspective that others may not have. This is why so many people are afraid to take bold steps, because they fear being misunderstood, judged, or ridiculed. But the truth is, when you follow your instincts and move in ways that may seem crazy to others, you are aligning yourself with a higher purpose, one that doesn't need external validation to succeed. To bridge the gap between perception and reality, you must learn to trust yourself. You must develop the confidence to know that, while others may see your actions as strange or even foolish, you are operating from a place of strategy, intelligence, and insight. Like the fox, you understand that sometimes it takes unconventional moves to succeed, and that those moves may not always be understood by everyone around you. Yet in the end, it's the one who dares to be different, who dares to be crazy, who often leads the way toward a future that others never even imagined. So keep moving forward, trusting that what may seem like a strange, unpredictable decision today could very well be the foundation for tomorrow's success. One of the most powerful aspects of being crazy like a fox is the ability to take strategic risks. Risk-taking often carries a negative connotation. We think of it as reckless or irresponsible behavior. But in reality, risk is an essential ingredient for growth, success, and innovation. The key lies in understanding that not all risks are the same. There are calculated risks, those that are thoughtfully considered based on insight, experience, and intuition that lead to profound breakthroughs. The fox understands that its survival depends on its ability to make quick decisions in the face of uncertainty. Similarly, when we step outside the familiar and embrace the unknown, it's not about being reckless, but about recognizing opportunities where others see only obstacles. Risk-taking, when done strategically, separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. The fox does not move haphazardly, but it knows when it's time to take a leap of faith. It watches its surroundings carefully, calculating the best moment to strike, and it makes its move when the potential rewards outweigh the risks. In the same way, successful people are not those who avoid risk altogether, but those who understand how to manage risk effectively. They assess the situation, weigh the potential outcomes, and then act decisively. Strategic risk-taking requires a balance between courage and caution, knowing when to act boldly and when to wait for the right moment. In life and business, we are often faced with choices that require us to step outside of our comfort zones. There is always an element of uncertainty when we make big decisions. We don't know for sure what the outcome will be. And that's where many people falter. They let the fear of the unknown hold them back. But if you want to achieve something great, you must be willing to take risks that may appear daunting to others. It's the willingness to embrace the unknown that often leads to the biggest rewards. The fox understands that in order to find food, to survive, or to succeed, it has to move through unfamiliar terrain, make unpredictable choices, and sometimes take a risk that others won't. Take a moment to reflect on the greatest achievements in history. Many of them were the result of individuals taking risks that others deemed too dangerous or too uncertain. Think about the explorers who sailed into uncharted waters, or the inventors who risked everything to create something new. Each of them faced significant obstacles and uncertainties, but they understood that without taking risks, they would never experience the rewards. They didn't just take any risk, they made strategic decisions to step into the unknown, armed with knowledge, intuition, and a willingness to move forward, even when the outcome wasn't guaranteed. Being crazy like a fox doesn't mean throwing caution to the wind. It means evaluating the situation, weighing the potential consequences, and making an informed decision to move forward anyway. It's about taking the right risks at the right time with the right preparation. A fox knows that it might encounter predators or face challenges along the way, but it also knows that survival depends on making the right moves at the right moments. Likewise, When you are faced with hope, don't be afraid to take the leap. But be sure that the leap is one that aligns with your goals, your vision, and your long-term strategy. Strategic risk-taking is not about blind faith or foolhardiness. It's about knowing when the odds are in your favor, trusting in your abilities, and having the courage to move forward despite the uncertainty. Just like the fox who takes calculated risks to secure its future, you too must be willing to embrace the unknown with the confidence that your decision is the right one. When you master the art of strategic risk-taking, you position yourself to achieve what others might believe is impossible. And in the end, it's those who dare to take the risks that others are most likely to succeed. There's a saying that often goes unnoticed, yet it holds a profound truth. Sometimes wisdom wears the cloak of what seems like foolishness. Being crazy like a fox is all about embracing the idea that what appears to be foolish, erratic, or irrational behavior on the surface is often rooted in deep strategic wisdom. In a world that values logic and convention, true wisdom is often misunderstood because it does not always align with the status quo. The fox is an embodiment of this paradox. It operates in ways that might seem unpredictable or even irrational. But beneath its seemingly chaotic movements lies a well-thought-out plan that has been carefully constructed to secure success. Wisdom, when it comes in the form of unconventional thinking, is often dismissed because it does not follow the expected patterns. People are quick to judge others based on their behavior, especially when that behavior deviates from the norm. The crazy moves that others make are often seen as illogical or as decisions based on impulse, when in fact they may be calculated, intentional, and brimming with wisdom. The fox's ability to adapt to its surroundings, to take risks and outsmart its enemies, is not a product of recklessness, but rather of deep understanding and foresight. Similarly, in our own lives, we must learn to trust the wisdom of unconventional decisions, even when others fail to understand them. What seems foolish to others may very well be the strategy that leads to success. A brilliant entrepreneur, artist, or leader often takes steps that appear out of sync with what society expects, yet these crazy moves can be the very foundation for revolutionary change. Consider the risks taken by those who have changed the course of history. They saw the world through a lens that others didn't, and their decisions, though they seemed foolish at the time, were in fact the wisest course of action to achieve their vision. This is the essence of wisdom in disguise, understanding that success doesn't always come from the conventional path, but often from the willingness to step outside of it. True wisdom isn't always about playing it safe or following the rules. Sometimes it's about knowing when to break the rules in order to achieve something greater. Think of the fox once again, which survives by being elusive and adaptable, doing whatever it takes to stay one step ahead of its predators. It's not about being reckless, it's about understanding the environment and adjusting its behavior accordingly. Similarly, wisdom in our own lives often means knowing when to take a leap of faith, to do something that others might find strange or risky, but that aligns perfectly with a bigger long-term vision. The challenge is in recognizing this wisdom for what it is, especially when others don't see it. It's easy to be swayed by external opinions or to second-guess ourselves when faced with decisions that don't follow the typical path. But the true fox, like wisdom, lies in embracing the unconventional, trusting that the crazy decision today may be the very one that pays off in ways you can't yet predict. The ability to see through the surface-level judgment, to recognize the deeper wisdom in your actions, is a sign of true mastery. In the end, being crazy like a fox is about understanding that wisdom doesn't always wear a neat, predictable, or conventional disguise. Sometimes it's hidden behind what seems like a risk, a challenge, or a seemingly foolish decision. But when you embrace this wisdom and trust in your ability to make unconventional choices, you'll find that what others saw as crazy was, in fact, the wisest choice all along. It's not about following the herd, it's about thinking beyond the herd, seeing the world in a way that others can't yet comprehend, and acting in alignment with that vision. Patience is an often underestimated virtue, especially in a world that demands immediate results. Yet when we talk about being crazy like a fox, one of the most powerful elements is the ability to master the art of patience. The fox knows that his strategy requires time, and that instant gratification often doesn't lead to sustainable success. The fox doesn't rush, doesn't act in haste. Instead, it understands that success comes to those who are willing to wait for the right moment, who know when to move and when to stand still. Patience isn't just about waiting, it's about understanding the timing and making the most of every moment. In the face of uncertainty, many people falter. They become impatient when things don't happen on their timeline, or they push too hard, too fast, seeking results before they are ready. The fox, however, operates with a different mindset. It knows that haste can lead to failure. It takes time to assess its surroundings, to wait for an opportunity to present itself, and then to act decisively when the moment is right. This ability to wait, to hold back when it's necessary, is often the difference between success and failure. The fox's patience isn't passive, it's active. It's about observing, learning, and making calculated decisions that will yield the best results. In our lives, we often find ourselves rushing toward goals, pushing for immediate outcomes, and trying to control the pace of progress. This sense of urgency can cloud our judgment, leading us to make hasty decisions that don't align with our long-term goals. But the fox teaches us that true mastery lies in knowing when to act and when to wait. Sometimes the best thing you can do in a situation is to pause, observe, and wait for the right moment. Patience allows you to prepare, to learn from your surroundings, and to make choices based on the clarity that only time can provide. The world today is filled with instant gratification, fast food, social media, rapid communication. This constant rush for immediate results can make patience feel like a weakness. But in reality, those who learn the art of patience often reap the greatest rewards. Like the fox, you have to be willing to wait for the opportunity that will truly benefit you, even if it doesn't come immediately. Whether you are building a business, nurturing a relationship, or pursuing a personal dream, the ability to wait for the right moment often leads to far greater success than rushing into things before you are truly ready. Patience also teaches resilience. When things don't go as planned, or when success doesn't come as quickly as we hope, it's easy to become discouraged. But the fox shows us that patience is not just about waiting, it's about enduring through challenges, remaining steady in the face of adversity, and trusting that everything happens in its own time. Just as the fox faces the unpredictable nature of the wild, we too must navigate the uncertainty of life. Patience helps us to remain grounded, to stay focused on the long-term goal, and to understand that some of the best outcomes take time to materialize. The key to mastering patience is trust. Trust in the process, trust in the timing, and trust in your ability to make the right moves when the time comes. While others may rush, panic, or try to force success, the crazy like a fox mentality encourages you to trust that you are exactly where you need to be at any given moment. Sometimes it's not about moving faster, it's about moving wisely, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And when that moment arrives, you will be ready to act with all the power of your strategy, vision, and patience.